Andrew with Triple L. As always, day 2. Getting Liquid Death to shout out to me at least. So it's a brutal 97 degrees outside with 82% humidity. Horrible weather. But today we're going to be, we just got our purple LSU fig tree in. This was actually created by the LSU Ag Center, specifically designed for this region and to also be like, can't catch disease, stuff like that. Doesn't need any type of pollination. So we just got in the mail today. It is very beat. Looks to be in okay shape, but it definitely needs to go into a pot ASAP, so that's what we're doing now. Start out with another pot, about 15 gallons. This pot originally comes with 1 drain hole. Fig trees, like citrus and fruit trees, love drainage, so I have added drainage holes all in this bottom and on this lower side part. So we got a 2-part makeup. This citrus palm and soil, 2 bags of this. We also have pine bark. Pine bark's going to be your topper, what helps hold moisture in. I'm going to mix some of this actually in with the soil as well. And for additional drainage, we have perlite. Perlite is strictly just to help with aeration and drainage in the plant. So, excuse my backdrop, that's a working man's garage. So start out with one of these and we'll mix it in my wagon over here and then put it back in. I'm going to start out with just 1 bag for now. See where we're at. Smooth that out. And I'll set my pot here. And within that pot, I'm going to set this pot. So you notice that it's sitting a little deep in this pot. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to add some of this potting soil to kind of keep it up off the ground, elevate it just a little. I'm going to pre-mix in a little bit of this. Save the rest from the topper. I don't know what it is, but pine bark smells real good. I'm just going to kind of tilt this into my hands real quick. See, it's a nice, loose, airy soil. That's what you want that way. They love water, fruit trees, citrus trees, fig trees. They all love really well-draining soil, but they also love to drink, so it's important that it's a nice, loose soil. That way when it gets wet, it's not compacting into basically cement. Some people will use sand with their fruit trees, citrus trees, so be it. That's perfectly fine, but you do not want to use things like clay sand. You want to use like a general all-purpose sand, and that's because clay sands, masonry sands, stuff like that, when they get wet, they almost turn into like concrete, and they compact really hard on themselves, and basically it's hard for water to drain at that point. So we need just a little more. That in there, smooth it out. And then from this point, we're going to place the plant. And I'm going to fill around.
Andrew with Triple L. So for some reason, the sound didn't work on the video on this part. So I'm just going to voice over what I was doing at this point. I'm talking about packing the soil in a little around the pot, which will give you the shape. So that way, when you take the plant out of the pot it was shipped in, it leaves that perfect diameter of the plant itself. As you notice in the video, taking this plant out now. The next thing that's going to be happening is speaking about the root ball. The roots look good. It hasn't fully wrapped the whole initial soil and container width that it was in before. So since it's not that bad, I'm just massaging these bottom roots out to kind of help it spread once I transplant it into this new pot. You don't ever want, you'll see some people like cut it with a knife or like slap the sides real hard to break it up. Sometimes the roots on these plants are very finicky and it can actually damage it. So you just want to massage those roots out the bottom before putting it in. I did want to mention that I forgot to show myself mixing in the perlite with the soil before it went into that new container, so that is in there. You can just kind of eyeball that. There's no correct amount. You can do like a 2-to-1 ratio. So, you know, your ratio being 2 on the soil and 1 on the perlite. The plant did have some plastic wrap on there, so I did cut that off shortly in the video. Right now I'm just packing the soil around the existing root ball. That's not going to do anything with the drainage. This is already a well-draining soil, so it's not like it's compacting it to where it's going to hold too much moisture. We got those extra drainage holes drilled in there. And we also have the soil mix that works good with the draining. If you notice, the plant looks like it's off center from the pot. It's not. It is planted directly in the middle. It's just this tree is kind of growing a little bit to the back, but as it's gets bigger, it'll start to fill up more towards the front too. So we're adding the pine bark as a topper here. This helps hold moisture in between your waterings. You want to bring it not all the way to the top to where it can fall out, but you still want to have a little bit of that lip of that pot there to help contain everything in and just kind of smooth it out around the plant, giving it an even coat. Right here, I'm actually taking the bark away from the root ball. You don't ever want to have soil built up right on the root ball. That's where it gets a lot of its growth from when it comes from like the sun and the air. It's drawing a lot in right there. So you want to keep a good little area around the root ball clear. Just like when you're fertilizing, you never want to put your fertilizer like right on the root ball. You want to do what they say, put it around the drip line. So that would be the furthest branches out from the root ball. And then you would just work it into the soil from there, water it in heavy after that. At this point, I'm not going to add any type of fertilizer to the plant itself for about 2 weeks, just because this plant came from Florida. So it was in a totally different climate than we're in here in Louisiana, even though we're both kind of that tropical southern climate, high humidity, high heat. It's still going to get what we call transplant shock. So I want to give the plant a chance to adjust to its new soil, its new home, which is this bigger container, and my environment, which is, Southeast Louisiana. After about 2 weeks, I'll add in a spoon feeding schedule. So lighter rates or amounts at a more frequent timing. Instead of doing one big fertilizing for like 30 days, I'm going to do 5 smaller amounts that will go into the plant itself, giving it direct nutrients right when I give it to it. I'm going to be using a liquid for it for about the first 4 months. And then after those first 4 months, I'll back off. Going into the winter, I'll give it one good fertilize before the winter. And then coming out of winter, I'll start back up with that spoon feeding process of about one per week at about a quarter rate of what you would give for a 30-day fertilize. This is kind of the end of the video. I'm just talking about a few other little things which I've mentioned other times in other videos. If anyone has any questions, any advice, needs any help on anything, you can always reach out to me on Facebook. You can reach out to me on TikTok, and also my email is linked in my bio. As always, stay hydrated, stay motivated, stay dedicated.